Hello, welcome to the Empire Studio channel. And what you should have so far is a guide sheet with your alphabet on it. And today, what we are also going to bring to the table are either copies of your hand, I tried to get mine in like a gray, like a lighter color. It wasn't as easy for me as I thought it would be. So some of my copies are just dark, but that's okay. It'll work. And the other thing you'll need is a pencil or a pen. Now these are right in front of me. I cannot work like that. I need them to be like this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to warm up. So I advise you guys do the same thing. So get a piece of paper and you're going to do drill. And it starts with this. And when you're doing your drill, you want to hold your writing utensil comfortably in your hand. For me, that means let it set on my middle finger and hold it lightly and move my arm, not my fingers. Like, don't go like, nope. We're doing this. And notice that your feet are on the floor, planted on the floor. Your back is on the back of the chair. I'm checking myself right now and you can hear me adjust because my back wasn't on the back of the chair. So you'll do this for a little bit. Then you're going to do your shapes. Remember, we put that on our guide sheet. So we've got our little guide sheet. You can hang your guide sheet up. I'm going to take my guide sheet. I'm going to hang it up right here. Because I've got all my little things that I need right down here. So this can go up here. So I can reference it in case I move my papers out of the way. There. Okay, so one of mine each. All right. So I've got 9 shapes. One of my shapes is a line. I'm going to practice making that shape with my whole arm. If you made copies of I should have done this. If you made copies of your sheet, what do you call that? The guide sheet without the blank guide sheet. If you made one of those, if you have a bunch of copies of those, use that to do your practicing on all your drills and everything, because that's got the angle that you want to get accustomed to writing in. So that's important. This is the only one I have right now. I didn't make copies of it. I plan to make some copies, and going forward I'll practice my drills on this. But for now, I'm just going to use this piece of paper because you also need to get accustomed to writing in the angle that you're going to write in. And again, I'm using this Energel Selena? I don't know. It could be Selena. It's Clena. It's a Pentel, like 0.03. So it's very small. Fine tip. Good for practicing. For this font anyway, or this, for this script. And then another one. I found this shape so foreign to me that I wanted to practice it on its own, in addition to practicing the letters. So this is the one time that you're going to just use your shapes, drawing your shapes in, like, as your drill in your warm-up. After this, you're going to draw or write your shapes with care and draw them neatly. This time, the reason why you're doing it like this the first time is just to get your hand and the muscles in your hand and your arm used to it. Just like an introduction. So, it doesn't have to be perfect this time. But next time, or maybe you might want to do this one more time, but then after that, you'll sit down with one of those guide sheets, not your key, but a guide sheet, and go ahead and take up one whole sheet to, to perfect each shape. And I'll have to turn it over and do this one. Oh no, that's two shapes. See, I combined. I just want to do the one. And this too. This was a shape that I'm just not accustomed to making, so I added this to the practice as well. Keep in mind that there is a method to practicing. We want to go slow and meaningful with our practice sessions. It's 10 minutes of practice with an aim is more valuable than an hour of practice with no aim in sight. I'm practicing a rough draft drill type of practice where, I'm not paying close attention to the form of my letters or any of those step 5 items, the consistency, the steps consistent, step 5 is consistency, and that's not something that I'm working on right here. There's no spacing, there's no attention paid to spacing, size, slant, or form, really. It's just a rough kind of getting your hands, getting your muscles, introducing them to this new thing you're going to be doing. So we're not getting into the rules yet. We're just really saying, hey, this is coming up, letting you know. Here's the introduction to your hand and the muscles in your hand and your forearm and your shoulder. And even your back, your upper back and your neck. All of it. So right now we're not doing any of that. We're just, this is just a rough drill. What we are paying attention to is the parts in step 6. Okay, so we are positioning ourselves. We're focusing on getting comfortable, having your feet on the floor, your hand and your pen, making sure those are in the position that is comfortable for you. Making your hand and arm movements. We've been talking about that, where you're trying to move your arm, not your hand. We're always trying to do step 3, which is slow down, and step 4, writing daily. We try to do that too. Soon we'll introduce, step 5. I guess these aren't really going in order. These don't have to be neat and stuff. That's why I'm doing it with you, so you can see what you should be doing. Your shapes might be a little different from mine. Remember my other alphabet? My shapes would be, this is this one. And my other one is this one. Remember that? Okay, so, and here's I'll do these too. My O, my line, my N shape, my U shape, and my moons. And most of these moons, let's see, right there, there, are shaped like that, so I'll keep them like that, right there, there. Oh, that's kind of an O too. There. And these ones don't have a slant. Like, I'm putting a little bit of a slant on these. And these, not so much. Oh. Different directions, because I know sometimes I'm going to have to write this in different directions. Like a Y, bottom of a Y. G also goes like that. Your S is going to come like that. How does it feel to make the loop bigger and smaller, wider and skinnier, thinner? What parts of my fingers do I press on more? Ooh, we might get a cameo. What you'll do now, this is the one time you're just letting your hand know this is what's coming. All the time, you can always do this. But from after this time, you'll have more structured practice. You can, if you'd like, you can do one more session of this unstructured practice. But after that, I would suggest structured practice where you can still you'll go through your shapes, one shape at a time. Fill up an entire sheet of that shape and draw it to shape, to size, using step 5, the rules on step 5. So you're gonna use be mindful of the spacing, the size, the slant, and the form for each one of your shapes. Your hand, you have muscle memory, and you're putting in some memories right now. But if this is totally foreign to your hand, you don't want to stress it out. But it's got a lot of memory, and you can give it a lot of information. Right? Just to recap, going forward, what you're going to do is get your sheet, this sheet, and you're going to use one sheet each for each of your shapes. And you can do more than one sheet if you want, but I suggest at least one sheet. You can do up to how many sheets it takes until you're comfortable making that shape correctly, and where it matches the shape of your alphabet. So you'll do that for each one of your shapes. That'll be your practice for the next, however many days. I'll do another episode, and on that episode, I will assume that you've done that. You've gone through and you know all the shapes, you've got them down, and we will start in on our letters. And what we'll do there is we'll kind of do the same thing, only we'll skip this step, but we'll start. And every time you sit down to write, you'll do a little drill first, just to get your hand warmed up a little bit. And what we'll do is we will start with a group of letters. One group. We'll not start with A, B, C. We'll start with your more simpler group. For example, I'll start with my group that doesn't have ascenders or descenders. So my first letter will be I. So we'll do that next time. And what we'll do is you'll take a page or so each for each day that you practice. You, and you'll devote each day to each one letter. So you'll have your 10 minutes. Let's say you get to practice 4 or 5 times a week. So you'll get 4 or 5 letters done that week. And if you need 2 days for one letter, that's fine too. So it'll take a few months to get through the alphabet. And by the time we're finished, you will have improved your handwriting. Okay, so you know what your homework is. You've got to take your shapes. I just want to go over it one more time. I know I've gone over it. You're going to have your worksheets. If you don't have one, then you've devised a plan where you're able to use a tracing paper, put tracing paper over this and write that way. That's fine. Whatever you've come up with. And the next time when we reconvene, we'll be working on letters, and you will have gone through all of your shapes. Okay. All right. Well, happy shape drawing, and I will see you next time.